This is the logo for the Health Council of Canada's materials on Aboriginal health issues. Who does it represent? How was it created? In this video, we'll meet the artist and find out how he met the challenge of equally depicting four distinct groups in Canadian society. Kirk Brant is a Ganyagahaga, or Mohawk, originally from the Tyendinaga Mohawk territory along the shores of the Bay of Quinte in eastern Ontario. He's a sixth-generation descendant of Joseph Brant, the Mohawk chief who helped gain Aboriginal support for the British during the American Revolution. At his studio in Ottawa, Kirk's respect for his heritage flows directly into his art.
I started painting in the woodland style a long time ago, and the woodland style comes from rock paintings and birch bark scroll etchings where there is no color. So it is only line. Very early on, I started to sort of exercise that part of my repertoire, I suppose, figuring out the form lines, so on and so forth, because that was the most interesting thing for me.
Kirk's canvas is a textured background made of several layers of tissue paper. He applies gel mediums and liquid acrylics that produce the look and feel of leather.
And the application of paper gave me this, it was almost like background noise when I was doing it. I could turn my brain off. But also, the effect was really, really neat. So the effect was very complementary to my very graphic style. So the two of them together complement each other, and you know, it's obviously very striking. So I put that on all my paintings now. I don't. It's sort of become my signature, I suppose.
Growing up in Kanata, just outside Ottawa, Kirk found confidence in art, and that provided other benefits.
If you're artistically inclined, you have a little bit of a little bit more social acceptance. And I was kind of awkward as a child because, well, being Indian, I was always the only Indian in class. And so that, you know, I cultivated that a little bit, I suppose. You know, it gave me a certain amount of social acceptance, but I was really good at it.
He's also really good at living off what the land and water offer, and that's a major influence on his art.
I am a fisherman, and my people were always fishermen. It's almost like when I'm not fishing, I'm thinking about fishing. You know? So, so naturally, it would occur in my art a lot. But there's also there's an element of it's the only recurring dream I've ever had is of fish, and I don't necessarily know where these dreams come from. And they're not, you know, they're not that interesting. It's just in my dream there's a fish, like it's in water, and there it is, and so I guess, you know, partly in my art I'm trying to figure that out.
For the Health Council of Canada, Kirk had to figure out something else.
You know, thinking in terms of health, everything had to work so well together that no one element had any more importance or, you know, to the other elements. It all had to be very cohesive, and I think that's the idea of health. There's a balance that you have to strike with. In terms of health, there's no, if something's out of balance, you become out of health. So I was thinking of that, I guess.
Kirk had to also think about cultural balance for the logo to truly represent Aboriginal health issues. Kirk, you've got the page here that you used to design the logo. Mm-hmm. What elements have we got here? How did it all come together?
Well, again, I had to think of how do you culturally represent three distinct groups, and of course Canada as well. And so we all have these sort of iconography that will identify us. The feather is used for First Nations people all the time, and it's widely accepted by a lot of people. So there's the feather for First Nations. There's the Inukshuk for Northern people. I mean, it's on the flag for Nunavut. And then of course there's the infinity symbol for Métis people. Louis Riel chose that symbol because, you know, he saw his people, Métis people, going on forever.
How do you blend those four symbols? Kirk's design breakthrough came with the realization that less is more.
I thought, well, okay, if there's a feather, let's not draw the whole feather. Let's cut it in half. And then as soon as I cut the feather in half, everything came from that. Everything else was I'd only show half the object, half the infinity symbol, half the Inukshuk, half the maple leaf, and everything congealed right at that moment.
After that, Kirk scanned his pencil sketch, then used computer software to smooth out the curves and polish the rough spots, a beautiful blend of tradition and technology, reflecting his own love of nature and the health it confers.
For me, health comes from the land and being on the land and eating from the land. Maybe if there was any kind of poignant message I might want to bring to this, it might be just that. We've got to get back to the land, you know? So yeah, I'm really proud of that logo.